Here is the rewritten script. Something significant is happening right now that most people are completely unaware of, and it is going to change the way you shop, cook, and stock your home. Starting March 31st, 2026, a series of new federal regulations are taking effect that will permanently remove dozens of common products from store shelves. These are not rumors, and this is not speculation. These are laws already signed and already passed. The final shipments of affected products are arriving in stores right now, and once they sell through, that is it. No restocking, no exceptions. The window to prepare is narrow, and the people who act now will be far better positioned than those who wait until April and wonder why their favorite products have disappeared or doubled in price. Let us start with something that affects nearly every household with children. Certain food dyes, specifically red dye number 3, are being pulled from the market. This bright cherry red coloring has been used for decades in candies, cake mixes, flavored drinks, and baked goods. After years of pressure from consumer advocates and mounting scientific evidence linking it to thyroid tumors in animal studies, the FDA has finally issued a ban. European countries took action on this years ago. The United States is now catching up. The problem is that red dye number 3 appears in hundreds of products, many of which you probably have in your pantry right now. After March 31st, any remaining product containing it must be pulled from shelves and destroyed. Retailers cannot legally sell it. Natural alternatives to this dye cost roughly 40% more, so the replacement products are going to hit your wallet noticeably. Go through your pantry this weekend and check labels on anything bright red or pink. Anything you find, use it now or plan your replacements carefully. The next item affects your kitchen in a very practical way. Non-stick cookware containing PFOA coatings is being banned from sale. PFOA is a chemical used in traditional non-stick manufacturing that has been linked to cancer and thyroid problems. Most major brands already phased this out years ago, but discount stores and dollar stores have continued selling old inventory at low prices. After March, those cheap options are gone. If you have non-stick pans that are more than 5 years old, there is a strong chance they contain PFOA. Replacing them now while affordable options are still on shelves makes far more sense than scrambling in April when demand spikes and prices follow. Check the bottom of your pans for manufacturing dates and act accordingly. Connected to this is the ban on plastic food storage containers containing BPA. That chemical leaches into food, particularly when containers are heated, and has been linked to hormonal disruption and developmental issues in children. After March 31st, BPA-containing food storage containers cannot be sold at retail. Most people have an entire cabinet full of these, and the BPA-free replacements cost about 60% more. There is also going to be a supply crunch as demand surges. Glass containers purchased now from restaurant supply stores offer great value, and the price of those same containers will climb significantly once everyone suddenly needs them. Check the recycling code on the bottom of your plastic containers. Anything marked with a number 7 that does not explicitly say BPA-free should be replaced now. Moving into your bathroom, certain antibacterial soaps containing triclosan are being banned. The FDA determined that triclosan does not actually outperform regular soap and may contribute to antibiotic resistance. After March, any soap product listing triclosan as an ingredient gets pulled. Check your hand soaps, body washes, and even some toothpaste. Regular soap works just as well, and the price of properly labeled replacements is already climbing as brands scramble to reformulate and repackage their products. For those who enjoy citrus sodas or certain sports drinks, brominated vegetable oil known as BVO is being removed from the market. BVO keeps citrus flavoring suspended evenly in beverages and has been used for decades in products like certain Mountain Dew varieties and some Gatorade flavors. It has been linked to neurological problems and organ damage. The final shipments of BVO-containing drinks are arriving in stores this month. Brands are reformulating, but the new versions taste noticeably different. Some discontinued flavors are already appearing on resale sites at several times their original retail price. Parents of young children need to pay particular attention to the ban on baby bottles and sippy cups containing BPA. While major brands largely switched to BPA-free materials years ago, discount stores and certain imported brands still carry the old versions. If your child is attached to a specific cup, finding that same design in a compliant version after March may be genuinely difficult. Buy backups of whatever your child currently uses before the transition disrupts availability. On the topic of sweeteners, pure saccharin powder in bulk consumer form is being removed from shelves. The regulations do not ban saccharin in finished products, but the sale of raw saccharin powder to consumers is being halted due to new labeling requirements that manufacturers cannot meet by the deadline. Reformulated consumer versions are expected to arrive by late this year, but they will cost significantly more. If you rely on saccharin powder for baking or coffee, you have a very limited window to stock up. The nationwide expansion of the plastic straw ban is also taking effect. What has been a patchwork of state-level restrictions is now becoming a federal mandate. After March 31st, businesses cannot provide single-use plastic straws in retailers, cannot sell them in multi-packs. The shift to paper, silicone, and metal alternatives is coming whether consumers are ready or not. For parents of young children and people with certain disabilities who depend on disposable straws, this is a practical disruption worth preparing for now. Aerosol cooking sprays with certain propellant additives are also being reformulated under new environmental regulations. The transition is creating inconsistency across brands, with some switching to pump sprays and others adjusting propellant chemistry in ways that change performance. If you rely on aerosol cooking spray regularly, buying extra of your preferred brand now is a sensible precaution before the reformulated versions hit shelves. Microwave popcorn containing diacetyl, a butter-flavoring chemical, is being banned from consumer food products. Diacetyl has been linked to serious lung disease and has been under scrutiny for years. Every brand of microwave popcorn is reformulating right now. If you have a favorite brand, the version you know is being replaced with something that tastes noticeably different. Stock up this month if it matters to you. Processed cheese products, including American cheese slices and nacho cheese sauces, are also affected by new limits on aluminum-based food additives. These compounds are used to achieve the smooth melting properties people expect from processed cheese. New regulations limiting aluminum in food mean every brand is reformulating. The texture and melting behavior of these products will change, which is already causing concern among food service operations whose recipes depend on precise melt characteristics. Whitening toothpastes containing plastic microbeads are being banned due to their environmental impact. These tiny plastic particles do not break down and have been polluting waterways for decades. Most major brands already switched away from them, but store brands and discount products often still use them. If your toothpaste lists polyethylene or polypropylene in the ingredients, it likely contains microbeads. The replacement abrasives used in compliant formulas are more expensive, and prices on even budget whitening toothpaste are expected to climb. Canned foods are among the most broadly affected categories. Most canned goods use interior linings that contain BPA to prevent corrosion and extend shelf life. New regulations require BPA-free linings across all canned products, and the transition is creating both price increases and supply disruptions. BPA-free cans cost more to produce, and manufacturers are simultaneously dealing with labor shortages and equipment upgrades to meet the March deadline. Prices on canned tomatoes, soups, beans, and vegetables are expected to rise between 20 and 30% as old inventory sells through and compliant products take their place. For families who rely on canned goods as a staple of their diet, calculating a several-month supply and purchasing now is genuinely worth doing. Certain high-caffeine energy drinks are also being affected. The FDA is implementing a cap on caffeine levels in beverages marketed to the general public, and drinks exceeding 200 milligrams per serving require new labeling that most brands cannot implement by the March deadline. Some extreme energy products are being pulled entirely rather than reformulated. If your preferred energy drink pushes past that threshold, the product as you know it is either disappearing or being weakened significantly. Check the label now. The nationwide plastic bag ban is also officially taking effect federally on March 31st. What has been rolling out state by state is now a uniform rule. No single-use plastic grocery bags at retail stores anywhere in the country. Stores are shifting to paper bags or requiring reusable ones. For households that relied on plastic grocery bags as trash can liners, pet waste bags, or general-purpose storage, the practical replacement costs add up quickly. Buying a supply of small trash liners now and keeping reusable bags accessible will help absorb the transition without unnecessary added expense. Sunscreens containing oxybenzone and octinoxate are being banned federally following research showing the chemicals damage coral reef ecosystems. Hawaii and several other locations banned them years ago, and that restriction is now going nationwide. These chemicals are what made many sunscreens easy to apply, non-greasy, and affordable. The mineral-based replacements using zinc oxide and titanium dioxide are thicker, often leave a white cast, and cost significantly more to manufacture. Prices on effective, cosmetically acceptable mineral sunscreens are expected to rise between 30 and 50%. If you have a sunscreen formula you like, now is the time to stock up before summer arrives and the shift is fully underway. Prepackaged children's lunch kits are being affected by new restrictions on sodium benzoate and sodium nitrite in ready-to-eat meals marketed to children. Those preservatives are what gave these products their long shelf life and convenience. Without them, the new formulations must be refrigerated and used more quickly, increasing both cost and logistical complexity for busy parents. If your child depends on a specific kit for school lunches, buy a supply now and consider freezing components that hold up well. The reformulated versions are coming, but they will cost more and may not appeal to children accustomed to the original. Permanent home hair dye products containing paraphenylendiamine, or PPD, are being reformulated or removed from the market. PPD is the chemical responsible for the lasting color and depth that makes permanent dye work. PPD-free alternatives are widely reported to fade faster and struggle to achieve the same richness, especially in darker shades, and they cost between 50 and 75% more. If you color your hair at home, identifying your current shade and buying enough boxes to carry you through the year is a practical move before March ends. Dry cleaning operations using perfluoroethylene as their primary solvent are being forced to switch to alternative methods. This chemical, used by the majority of dry cleaners, has been linked to cancer and is being phased out across the industry. The transition requires significant equipment investment on the part of dry cleaners, and that cost will be passed to consumers in the form of higher prices and longer turnaround times. Certain fabric types that responded well to the old solvent may not clean as effectively under new methods, and stains that were previously treatable may become permanent. If you maintain a wardrobe that relies on dry cleaning, finding a reliable provider who has already completed the transition and testing, their process now is a smart move. Finally, certain flame retardant chemicals used in furniture and mattresses are being banned from new manufacturing. Products made before March can still be sold from existing inventory, but nothing new containing the banned chemicals can enter the market. Furniture and mattress manufacturers are facing higher material costs as they adopt compliant alternatives, and those costs will be reflected in retail prices starting in April. If you have been considering a major furniture or mattress purchase, acting before the end of March gives you access to current pricing and existing inventory before the market adjusts upward. These changes are not optional, and they are not coming gradually. They take effect on a single date, and the disruption will be immediate for anyone who is not prepared. The strategic response is not panic buying. It is going through your home, identifying what you actually use from this list, and making deliberate decisions before the window closes. The people who act now will spend less and face fewer disruptions than those who wait until April discovers empty shelves and higher price tags in their place.